So this is Chinmay from the team Mumbai, and today I am with Miss Shruti Sethi, and she is a cancer survivor herself. And today we are into a discussion with her to understand insights from her journey and how is it that she has conquered cancer. So just to give you a brief about her, she was a fashion designer from Bombay. Now she is in Jaipur, and a transformation that her experience has brought is she is now deeply focused on being a holistic health coach, and she also helps people with reversing chronic health disease. So now over to Ms. Shruti, and let's hear it from her.
Thank you for this introduction, and thank you for having me also. I mean, I really appreciate that you're doing this because my message is to spread the word across the globe. So just to tell you in brief about my story, I was diagnosed in 2016 with Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Okay.
And I was in Bombay that time, and I was leading so-called healthy. I thought that I'm leading a healthy life. I was always a vegetarian and always was doing, some of the other exercises, which we all do, which we all think that, okay, to lead a healthy lifestyle, we should eat healthy, we should exercise and all these things. And then when I got diagnosed, it was like a big shock to me that how did this came into my body, because generally I was happy, never went to the doctors, never went to the hospital, and never had a lot of issues as per se. So it came as a very big shock to me that, and I didn't know what Hodgkin lymphoma is, what immunity is. It's a cancer of your immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came to know about all this and about how Hodgkin lymphoma happens, it's due to a lot of environment causes and due to a lot of toxins accumulation in our body, and then figured out, okay, actually how does cancer happen. Then when I introspected, I said, oh yeah, one of the main reasons why cancer happens is due to stress. And over last 3-4 years, when I was before 2016, the last 3-4 years were very tough on me, because I was married then and I was having a relationship issue, and being a fashion designer in Bombay, I had a store. I led a very, very, very hectic and stressful life, actually, like really stressful life, and was not sleeping well. My sleep cycles were very bad. And though I exercise and eat well, but the stress levels are very high. So it was, I never thought that stress can lead to something like this, what it does to our cells and how it really gets our system low, like immunity low. And that was a big shock to me, that why didn't I know about this earlier? Like why? And I could have, dealt with it in much better way. And when you go through relationship issues and all, and I became quite depressed, and this emotion got stacked inside me, and I was not really talking about it. And didn't really know about what affects it. This can affect your body to a certain level,
Mm-hmm.
and my body had actually started giving me signals about something needs to be dealt with, or please pay attention to me. I severely had issues of acidity. Sleep was one of the issues. I was constantly getting fatigued, and I was constantly getting, like I was craving for sugar because my energy levels were very low. Like I was I wanted to eat sweets all the time. And later on, when I read that cancer actually feeds on sugar, it's a food for cancer, I said, oh my God, like I've been eating desserts every day. I've been gorging on sweets. And so it was like a big, eye opener for me that, oh my God, my body was actually giving me signals, and I was the one who ignored it. I thought, oh, maybe I'm just stressed, and maybe it's just something which I'm going through, and it'll get all right. But it actually got worse.
So how was cancer detected for you? So as you said that you were having all these
Yes.
symptoms, but you didn't recognize them at that point of time. So how did you finally detect it?
So luckily for me, what happened was I got a lump on my throat, and that lump was not going. And I thought maybe I have. I used to play badminton, and I thought that maybe I've just, it's one of the shot, or I must have fallen down or something. And that lump came, and it was not going. And with the help of my friend who was a doctor, I asked him, like, listen, this lump, I've got some certain lump in my throat. It's not painful though, but it is just not going. I applied a lot of hot compress and wet compress and lot of air, like ointments, but it's not going. So he said that just go and check get an X-ray done, and I did get an X-ray done, and then the doctor said it might be TB.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then obviously after the blood test and it was not TB, and then the doctor advised to do an FNAC test, which is like the needle gets poked into your lump, and they remove a tissue and then they send for testing. And that's how I figured when the test came, it said that it might be Hodgkin's lymphoma. And my blood test, my B12, T3, everything was low. My WBC was on the higher side. And then when you go with the biopsy, then it was finally detected that it is a confirmed case of Hodgkin's lymphoma stage 2.
Oh, okay. So this was in 2016.
2016, yes.
Oh, okay, okay. And then you met. What were your next steps?
So as a layman, as you have to actually show it to the doctor, and you have to see how I mean, we all go through those questions where how did this happen, and we need to know from the doctor that okay, what stage, and what is the protocol, what do you suggest, what the only thing which they told is it has to be treated through chemotherapy. And eating wise, lifestyle wise, they don't obviously say anything. They don't even ask you certain questions. And when you ask them how did it come, they said they don't have any answer for it. Cancer can happen to anybody and everybody.
Yeah.
And so general protocol where you go to the doctor and they said, okay, now chemotherapy, you lose your head and you have to be taken care of, and then this and that.
So what kind of doctor? You went for a surgeon?
Onco.
An medical oncologist?
Medical oncologist.
You went for a medical oncologist in Bombay?
Yeah. Actually, I went to 2 oncologists.
Yeah.
So that to understand that, okay, if he's saying the same thing, or you need a second opinion.
Yeah, obviously. Both of them kind of agreed on what the diagnosis was. And
yes.
Did not have a surgery to remove the tumor?
No. So in Hodgkin's lymphoma, since it's a cancer of immune system, the lump it's basically we have lymph nodes everywhere, and we have a white fluid sort of lymph going around.
Yes.
So so they suggest, and I had cancer not only in my throat, I had in my armpit and a bit of back also. The cells were everywhere. It was not only on my found on my the cells were aggressive in my armpit as well as my back. There were spots found in my back. So surgery was not possible.
Not possible. Okay. So how long was your chemo cycle? It went on for like 6 months?
Well, then what happened was, what happened was I was completely living in a denial. I said, I do not want to go to the doctor because it was tough. I was alone. And my parents came down. My parents live in USA, and they came, and then I said, I don't want to go to the doctor. I'm just going to try. Since it was a stage 2, it was the early stage. I'm going to try using all the remedies, like all the natural remedies. Like I started Ayurveda, I started ozone, and I started yoga. Obviously, I switched to completely organic diet, but I did not give up any of the dairy products. And I tried this till December. And in December, I was okay. I was getting better. But in December, I started coughing a lot. Like I started coughing, and the cancer. When after doing the PET scan,
Mm.
I from stage 2, I came to stage 3.
Oh, in about six
So
months? Like how long was this period?
yeah, so I was diagnosed in April,
Okay,
in
so
April 2016.
about 8 9 months.
Yeah. So I tried that, and the spots at my back had gone, but it had got spread in my lungs, like
Oh,
upper lungs.
oh,
And that time, then, I realized that one main thing which I really didn't work on was my mind,
okay.
on my stress levels, and on accepting it. So, very, very important thing about having cancer is to accept it and not fight with it. So, that when I was told that, okay, now no bullshitting, you have to take chemotherapy, that time when I realized that I had a week or so before starting the treatment, I was given a protocol to do it.
Mm.
I said, okay, now I've tried everything. I've tried these, but one major thing which I have not accepted what I'm going through right now. Like I was fighting with everyone. I actually I stopped talking to the world. I just was dealing it with along only
Completely,
by myself.
completely alone by yourself.
Um, yeah, my parents were there, but I didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't wanted to share my problems. I didn't wanted to, like, I didn't wanted to basically accept the major thing which is going inside. And then when I figured out, okay, now I have to accept it. Like there's a point where you have to accept it, whatever you're going through. Your ego sort of and my ego clashed, sorry, trashed down. I had to forgive people in my life who I thought have done wrong to me. And there was a lot of hatred, a lot of victimizing myself. Made myself a victim of circumstances, a victim of my own thoughts, and prisoned myself, my emotions also. Then I actually, when I went to one of the homeopathy doctors, and I just started talking and blurting out whatever I was going through. I released my emotions, and then I started meditating. I started actually talking to myself that what has been gone wrong. I wrote down things, made a cancer journal, and then and then I sort of made an agreement with myself. Okay, I will live as one day as it comes, even in chemotherapy. Let's just not uh, label any event right now. Let's just see what each day brings to me. I'll try and live in the moment, and I'll figure out that day what is to be done. And I'm not really thinking about the future. And when that happened, I actually started feeling happy. I started feeling very, very uh, close to my own self. Uh, you know, what happens is that we do not know what we are thinking. That awareness is not there. But I became aware of my own thoughts. Now, even if you're going towards negativity, I used to stop there and like pause there and then bring myself back. Okay, it's okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be lonely. It's okay to be, you know, it's okay to just, what do you say, be anxious about situations. But then what will it bring it to? What will happen? My cells and everything will start reacting. My brain will start reacting. So I need to pause this, and I need to switch my thoughts to something better. So that's how I trained myself. That's how I actually worked on myself. Like I never understood how can you love yourself. Like how what is loving yourself mean, or what is working on yourself. But I think in these small ways, I try to switch my negative thinking to positive thinking. And that's one of the main reasons from, like, in 4 chemos, my cancer went away. Of course, I also, when I accepted things, when I actually opened my world, I met so many other people who transformed their lives without taking chemotherapy, and met few doctors like Rashmi Menon and Dr. Nandita and all that, who helped me with my diet, going whole plant based, and became a vegan that time only during my treatment. And it was miraculous. In 4 chemos, my cancer was gone. I was so happy. Like, the doctors were also like, "Wow, this is amazing." So
Very nice.
yeah, I think miracles happen.
Just give us a brief on all the different things that you did parallelly as you were doing chemotherapy. How did you work on your mental wellness?
Right,
You worked on
right.
your diet, maybe yoga.
Yes, yes. The first thing which I really worked on was my diet. Like, completely went whole plant
Plant
based, organic. Yeah,
organ.
organic. And I started yoga, of course, a lot of pranayam.
Okay.
And the third thing was meditation,
Okay. So meditation helped you
which a lot.
a lot.
Like, I used to, whenever I used to take chemotherapy, I used to meditate that time. Like, the chemotherapy is only killing my cancer cells, and the rest of the cells are intact. That time, when you give positive response to your brains also start acting, and cells start acting that way.
Perfect.
And I actually could figure out that it is like, I used to feel positive. Okay, that's like being in the moment. Meditation actually helps you being in the moment.
So post your treatment and when you actually found out that you were good, how has your life changed and what have you continued since then?
Oh my god, my life's completely changed now. Drastically changed. I have become much more calmer person, a much more resilient person, a much more happier person.
Amazing.
And I, all thanks to cancer. Now when I see, I think it's the best thing which happened to
You
me.
can really say that now.
I can absolutely, without being guilty about it.
Amazing. Right.
Yeah, and people actually, when I talk to them, it's like they can see how passionate I am and how energetic I am. Also, because of my food choices, it has reflected so much in my life now, that I have my brand, which is sustainable fashion brand, is on that lines that I want to do something for environment and something with the cause and with a purpose. And now I work with a lot of cancer patients and help them come out of all this, and come out of the misery they have made themselves in. Also, I'm like, I give talks and sessions in corporates about health, about stress, basically. Like, there's no point in stressing out so much, and how to actually balance yourself in this hectic life.
Sure.
So, from being in this glamorous fashion designer to now a holistic health coach.
After 4 months of chemotherapy, you had a PET scan and you were cancer free.
Yes.
So, is there any further treatment that you have been undergoing?
No.
So that's
I
it?
was advised radiation, but I refused because I did not understand why they just wanted to give me radiation for precaution, and they never gave me an answer. That I asked them one question, that are you guaranteeing that it will never come back? After taking radiation, and they said no. And if it's no, then I rather, like, just with my lifestyle and with my mindfulness, I rather take precautions naturally. Why do I need to take radiation? Just because on a precaution side.
Okay.
And I told them that let me just take off 6 months. Let me just work on myself, because chemotherapy, any which way, it really gives your body. It takes a lot of energy from your body, and you become weak. No matter how healthy you eat, but you need some time off. And I said, okay, give me 6 months and let me see, let me come back to you. And
Okay.
from then,
There's no looking back.
2017, there's no looking back.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's fantastic. During that period of treatment, were you still working?
The first and second chemotherapy was very tough for me.
Later.
But after I changed my lifestyle, actually, when I went
Hmm.
on a whole plant-based diet,
Hmm.
that diet actually helped me overcome all the the side effects of chemotherapy. And I was energetic after 2 or 3 days. Continued working however I could,
Hmm.
managed for my work. Used to go out, not a lot, but yeah, a little bit with for my work. So yes, for 3 4 months I did work that time.
What kind of side effects and what can people be prepared for mentally as well as physically when they are actually undergoing chemo or about to start something like this?
You really get fatigued.
So a lot of fatigue.
Like there's a lot of fatigue. Second, your immunity goes low because a lot of good cells also if you're taking chemotherapy, the good cells also are getting
Good.
washed
Yeah,
away.
correct.
So you need to really take care of your immunity. Thirdly, you get nauseous. You really get nauseous while according to your protocol. So you can take a lot of lemon water and keep your body alkaline. That's where I found a difference because I used to get nauseous earlier, and then after taking a lot of lemon water and taking a lot of alkaline diet, I was not nauseous, and I'm so glad that it's
Hmm.
a terrible feeling
Correct.
to be nauseous that time. And then the other thing which happens is that joint pains.
Joint pain.
You have a lot of joint pains, and there's edema also happens. Water retention happens. So you need to flush out all that. You need to drink a lot of water to flush out that medicine out from your body.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So does this is it like a persistent thing or is it only because during the time when you take the drug? So let's say today's my chemotherapy is it in the next few days or is it going to last a month? Because I think typically there's a month's time inter.
It all depends how what is the level of your drugs at.
The drug.
What is the protocol you're taking. So for me, after my treatment ended for 3 4 months, I had edema. Like my I had a lot of water retention. mm, a lot of toxins had to be flushed out. And
What?
also you have a lot of one thing which also happens is that you have a lot of ulcers in the mouth.
No.
um, yeah, you get ulcers in the mouth, and sometimes it's hard to swallow because you have ulcers, and your digestive system also becomes weak because your gut gets in a lot of inflammation and everything. So you need to take care of that. Like I used to do a lot of acupressure also, and I used to take some massages so that my digestive system is good. And I used to eat pretty pretty well. It's not that
Mm.
I never used to get hungry. So
Okay.
all these things helped me, like taking a bit of therapy. Yeah.
So when did you move to Jaipur? You decided to move away from your way, Bombay being the
Yes,
passion.
I think I was done with Bombay.
Okay.
I didn't wanted to live a stressful life, and I want some peace in my life, and wanted something, uh, wanted to start over again. And that's how I moved to Jaipur. I have relatives here and family here, and I moved down with them. And it's not like a very fast life like Bombay. And I wanted to take a year off so that I figure out what I want to do next with my life.
Amazing.
So it's good to take breaks. It's not like that you'll be left behind. I think now I'm much more. If I see, I said I've achieved a lot in this 1 year of taking a break.
What was the stiffest challenge for you in this whole thing? Was it more mental? Where did you seek your support from, or what was that kept you going on? Because I think it's a very hard journey to undergo alone.
One thing I realized that when I was going through that PET scans, one first PET scan, No matter how much support you have to go through yourself. So make yourself that strong that whatever happens, you are your own best friend.
Amazing. Yeah. So you have to make yourself your best friend and go through it. Because in the end, I
Absolutely.
think you are suffering and the onus is on you alone.
Yeah. So, the one thing which I actually sat and did before chemotherapy uh, was will you talk? How will you talk to your best friend if he's going through something like that? I am my best friend. I thought that okay, I'm that little child, and I was talking to myself. Okay, it's okay, whatever has been happened in your life, and all. Now we have to, like, my body is my best friend. We have to make you have to unite with your own self, and when you become your own best friend, then you can sort of your body becomes your own best friend. Then you will obviously do the best for it. So that's how I my perspective changed, and that's how I've become, like, even now I am very disciplined about exercising, about the kind of food I'm taking and all that. You would not want to put anything which is bad for your body, and I'm still retaining it, and I'm enjoying it. Like, I really enjoy being healthy and, you know
Amazing.
eating good food. Yeah.
What's happening in your life now?
Lot of things. This as we were discussing, that I really want to get into this cancer coaching, and also
Okay.
now I'm a whole plant based nutritionist as well.
Okay.
So spreading awareness is that my primary goal now. Taking sessions and, like, taking classes and everything that is happening. Secondly, I'm working on my brand. There are a lot of collaborations happening. So these two major things which I want to take up more seriously, and yeah, so these two things
Fantastic.
now.
Fantastic. Yeah. So we wish you all the best in the work that you're doing with your brand and as well as the cancer awareness.
Congratulations on your website as well. I mean, you are doing amazingly well. That
We just started. We just started. I think
I'm
it's a
sure
start.
it's gonna go a long way.
We'll see. Yeah, that's the effort. So we'll definitely see whatever little value we can add. Uh, and finally, I just want some 3 tips that you can give fellow cancer fighters. What do you think that can really help them in their journey?
Hmm. A, change their lifestyle for sure. Whatever they, I mean, sit and introspect. What have you been eating? What have you been putting in your body? And what is good for your body? Second, obviously, working on their mindset
Okay.
is very important. Thirdly, uh, talk about your emotions. Have a support system. It's very important to have a good support system, like whoever it can be, whoever it is, your parents or friends. Don't think that, if uh, don't think bechara of yourself. It's
Mm,
okay. Everybody goes through something in their life like this. You don't have to treat yourself as like, oh, what will other people say if I really talk about my emotions. You don't have to think that way. You just need to talk to right people, and they will support. Because support, I mean, you just can't do it by yourself. Everything you need that
yeah,
love and that kindness around you, so that you can recover faster.
sure. I
Yeah.
think that is very valuable. And thank you, Shruti, for being with us and sharing wonderful insights about your experience and how you have managed to really overcome cancer. We wish you all the best with all the endeavors you have been undertaking, including
Thank you.
on the cancer side. And thank you so much
Thank you.
for being
Thank you,
here.
Chinmay.
Yeah.